Welcome. Join me in this video as I dive into the latest news about this expat job ban in Oman. As reported in Times of Oman, I'll try and uncover what it really means for us expats. So Oman has a population of just over 5 million, and 40% of that population is made up of expats. Half of the expats are from India. So in this latest job ban on expats, what I'll do is I'll put a list of all the latest positions that are now having to be filled by an Omani. So if you're already here, you're an expat in Oman and you're already in Oman, and maybe you have career aspirations, well, I'm afraid some of these could affect you. So this latest job ban for expats, it's all related to Omanization. So in this video we're going to talk about Omanization and what it means for expats. Now, Omanization is not a new thing. It was actually first mentioned back in the late 90s, and steadily over the years the Ministry of Labour have been introducing new legislation which basically secures more positions for Omani nationals and reduces the expat workforce. The problem with that is there's always a gap. So when you introduce positions for Omani nationals, let's call them locals because they are, what it means is they have to find someone who can fill that gap. So for example, at the moment an expat can be a hotel reception manager. That's now changed. So what that means is if you're working in hotel reception and you want to be the manager, it ain't going to happen now. If you're an expat, that is. If you're an Omani, that's fine because the position will now be filled by an Omani national. So what does this mean for Oman as a country? Well, a lot of it's to do with economic growth. When you look at the GDP, which is the gross domestic product, and you compare it with a country or a state like UAE, Oman has something like 9 point, can't remember, billion riyals, whereas over in the UAE, that's close to 42 billion riyals. So you can see the difference there. And also in somewhere like Dubai in the Emirates, it's something like 90% of the population are expats. So there's a big difference there. And as well as the GDP, you've got this expat population, which has a huge impact on the economy. So in Oman, they seem to be going back the way when it comes to the expat population, whereas in Dubai, they're still 90%. And the other thing is, Oman relies upon the oil. I think it equates to something like just above 80% of the revenue is generated from oil. Now they are trying to move into LNG production. Well, they already have, but Dubai are moving away from fossil fuels, and they're moving into other different parts of business compared to Oman. So Oman has to be careful that it doesn't get left behind. You know, Oman first discovered oil back in 1964, and the first imports, I think, were in 1967. So it's not like it's a new thing. They've had plenty of time to adapt and plan ahead. But when Omanization was first discussed back in the late 90s, I mean, that's almost 30 years ago. And they're still trying to move forward with Omanization. Now, what does it mean for you if you are an expat and you're already here? Well, you could be affected. It depends on your position. You may have to try and get a different position, especially if the new positions will be taken up by Omanis. If you're thinking of coming to Oman and you have a job lined up, you could also be affected, especially if that job is one of the jobs on the banned list. Now, the list that I've put across the screen here, that's only the latest update. It's not a complete list of all the jobs that are banned for expats. So, as well as these, there's a whole lot more. So where does Oman go from here? Well, they have to be very careful that the investment is still maintained. The last thing they want to do is, you know, all the expats leaving and then the investment going down, which will affect the economy and things like that. Now, I've been here in Oman for almost 6 years, and I'll be honest, there hasn't been a huge difference when it comes to the economy, but there has been a lot of higher taxes for expats, like the sin tax, for example, which affected a lot of expats, and it also affected the economy because basically the expats were not spending money on beverages and other things that were affected by the sin tax. So they have to be very careful what they do here when it comes to the Omanisation, or they could find themselves in a wee bit of trouble. I hope that's not the case, because it's a great country and I've had a great 6 years here, but even our positions in our company, we have a lot of expats working, and we are on the way out as well. So for me, it's not so bad because I'm retiring after this job. But the guys that are still younger than me who are not retiring, these guys are all probably actively looking for a new job, or will be come the end of the contract. So yep, it's part of life, but I just hope for the country's sake it's managed in the right way. Okay guys, that's it for today's video, and thanks for watching. Cheers.